Okay, I don't know what he's doing upstairs. He's like banging around on something and that's all I can hear. But hopefully it's not too distracting. So, welcome back to another installment of recommended reading. I almost forgot what I was doing. So I have quite a few. I think it's been maybe 2 months since my last one. I can't remember. But let's just get right on into this. As always, you scoot over. Book titles will be over here. First up, The Glass Forest. This was pretty good, very twisty turny. I believe it was set in like the 60s or something, 60s or 70s. This guy and his wife got a call that that his mom, I can't remember now. Wow, it's been a while. Well, they got a call that someone in their family died, and that someone else in their family, the wife of that person, was missing. So they, go up, to wherever it was, New York or something, and they go to live in the house and kind of like take care of the arrangements and stuff. And they have a very like strained relationship, the main husband and wife. It's very like kind of a weird relationship going on. And then the other husband has died, his wife is missing, and then they have a daughter that is kind of weird. And so there's a lot of twists and turns throughout the book, kind of a twist ending, and it was just a very like kind of strange story. It kind of went back and forth between time periods and stuff, between like childhood and adulthood for, I think it was the first husband and the second husband are brothers. I think that is maybe what their family relationship was. And it's kind of trying to figure out what happened to the wife. Where did she go? Did she kill the husband? Did the husband kill himself? Like, it was a whole like kind of mystery, but also like family drama kind of thing. So that was pretty good. Bring Me Back by B.A. Paris. I remember this because I've read 2 of that person's other books. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. Both of them were really good. I can't remember the other 2 names, but I know I mentioned them before. So this guy and his like girlfriend or wife or whatever, she just disappears one day. He's trying to like figure out what happened to her, and you're kind of like also, it's one of those like split storylines. So it's being told from her perspective, from like before, and his perspective currently, plus I think also her perspective currently. So it's a little bit confusing, but he's trying to figure out like what's going on, and she was acting kind of weird and stuff. And she also talks about her childhood and her sister and stuff like that. And he's just trying to like figure out where she went and what happens. And she's getting all these like weird things in the mail and stuff. And there's kind of like some neighbor drama, and it has a very twisty ending, like a triple twist ending or something like that. So that was pretty good. It was a lot like the other books from this author where there's multiple timelines. It can be kind of confusing, at least for me, like listening to it, because I can't see the words on the page. If I can see something, I can pretty much like make a connection and remember it right away. Whereas if I'm listening, like it's kind of like in one ear and out the other. But very much like those other 2 books, very twisty, turny, windy, kind of weird book. But once you get the hang of it, then it makes sense. So Someone Like You, this is a Sarah Dessen book. I think that last time was my first Sarah Dessen book, I think. Anyway, this one is about 2 high school girls. One of them, her boyfriend, died in a car crash, I think, like over summer, and then they're going back to school, and the 2 girls are just kind of trying to like lean on each other for support and stuff. And then one finds out that she's pregnant with the baby of the guy that died. So then she's gotta, like go through this whole like teen pregnancy thing. And the other one is trying to get into a relationship and she's having like some issues with it. It's just a really nice, like kind of takes you back to high school time. Just like teen drama, I think it was fairly short also. It was only like maybe 4 or 6 hours audiobook. So it was really good. I liked that one. It was nostalgic kind of. Not that those situations applied to me, but it was just kind of nice to read something that wasn't just like a mystery or whatever. Next up is Sadie, and this was kind of weird because I've been getting into the podcast lately, and this is a book told like a podcast. So it's told from the perspective of Sadie, I think. Is it Sadie? I think so. And she is going on this quest to find out what happened to her sister, because her sister was killed and she doesn't know who did it or why or anything. And she comes from like a poor area and stuff, and she's just like, she kind of runs away from home and just like tries to figure out and retrace the steps as to like what happened to her sister. And then it's told from the perspective also of a podcast that is following her movements and trying to also figure out what happened to her sister. So it's very interesting storytelling. I really liked this book. The ending though was kind of like, what happened though? It was a little bit open, but I guess you can interpret it any way you want. It was good though. I would recommend it. Next up is It Ends With Us. This is a Colleen Hoover book. And the first one that I read of hers was November 9th, which was really good. This one was heavy. It is told from the perspective of, again, 2 time periods. Like that seems to be the theme of this month's one. But it's told from the perspective of the main character whenever she was young and in her first relationship in high school. And then also told from whenever she's current age, like 24 or something, and getting into a new relationship. She later stumbles across her first relationship during her new relationship. And it's kind of an epic, like coming together kind of thing. Like, will she stay with this guy? Will she go back with the other guy? And you find out a lot of messed up things that are going on in her current relationship. And it's very like intensely, domestic-y about issues that they're having and stuff. And I feel like I don't want to give away too much because if I say much more, you're going to know what happens. But it kept me guessing up to the end. So the next one is Devil in the White City. This is about H.H. Holmes, which was Chicago's serial killer during the World's Fair of 1893. And I pretty much just got this because I was like, well, I lived in Chicago for a long time and I know like all of these like landmarks that they're talking about. I like books set in Chicago because then I kind of can picture everything better. And I also felt like it would just be really interesting to hear about like, this prolific serial killer, because his murder mansion basically was very elaborate with like trapdoors and like, sealed rooms and stuff like that, but then the book was very much of a letdown. I would say that a good 80% of the book was focused solely on the World's Fair, and talking about like the construction of it and like the attractions that they had and the Ferris wheel and all that stuff, And then like only, even though Holmes was featured, it was kind of like alternating. Like they'd talk about the fair and the people building the fair, and then they would talk about Holmes, and then the fair, and then Holmes. But the stuff that was talking about Holmes was more just like his life. Like there was almost no detail about murders at all. And I feel very like that's time that I will never get back. I was just very much of a letdown. I would not recommend it. Next up is The Wife by Alifair Burke. This one was also very like kind of twisty turny, kind of up my wheelhouse. I like books like that. It's this like political type guy, I think. And he has like an affair or something, gets caught, and his wife forgives him, and then he gets caught up in another one. And the second time around, she's a lot less forgiving, but she's also hiding secrets of her own. And it's this whole like, you know, what is she doing behind the scenes kind of thing, because for the most part, you aren't really told what she's doing. You're kind of like guessing, like, where does this fit in? And then it ties up in the end and you're just like, oh, wow, that was not what I was expecting. So pretty good, that one. So next one up is Lies. This is about a guy and his wife and his son. He sees that his wife is having an affair, or thinks that she is, and he ends up beating up the guy, and then the guy just goes missing. And he is suspected of the crime. And he's like, but I didn't do it. Like, he was still alive whenever I left him in the parking garage and stuff. And his wife is like, you know, kind of being cagey and stuff. And then they're friends actually with the guy that's missing and the guy's wife. That's like their closest, you know, like coupley friend. And so it's a big mess. And you find out as the story progresses that the wife has a lot more to do with things than you would have expected. And the ending was like, oh wow, I did not see that coming, like, at all. It was way different than any other like kind of twist ending, because there was almost no clues really leading up to it. So I liked that. Next up is The Family Next Door. This one is about kind of all the neighbors in a cul-de-sac, and just kind of like a neighborhood drama, you know. And it's this girl and her husband and their kid, and then a new woman moves in, and she's kind of like being a little cagey, you know. She's like kind of scoping out the neighborhood and stuff, and then it's revealed that she's searching for a missing child. That she thinks was stolen from somewhere else and then brought to this neighborhood. And so she's trying to figure out like which one of these kids could be this child, if any of them. But whenever it comes down to it, everything that you thought was going on was completely not what was going on. So very twisty. If I say too much more, you'll know the ending, so I can't. Next up is Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. This is Stephen King's son. I've read a few of his other books. I really liked Nosferatu. That one was excellent. This one was, I was going to say it was pretty good, but now that I'm really thinking about it, I feel like it would have been a lot better as a novella instead of a full-length novel, because it was like 11 or 13 hours audiobook. That was pretty long. It's about this ex-rock star who's kind of just retired, you know, and he's just like bopping around doing whatever. And he is really into like ghosts and stuff like that. And he's also dated like a lot of younger women. And so he had a really bad breakup with one of them, and she ended up killing herself. And what happened was that he found, or his assistant found, this auction online for, you know, like, buy my, you know, dad's ghost, basically. And they're like, you know, I'm pretty sure that my dad is inhabiting this suit, you know, and if you buy the suit, his ghost will come with it, you know. So he buys it because that's what you do, I guess, whenever you see a ghost for sale. And immediately he starts, you know, like experiencing like weird things going on. And his new girlfriend, who is also like a young woman, has some weird things going on, and then he quickly realizes that there indeed is a ghost, and the ghost is haunting them. And I feel like I can say this because it doesn't really give it away too much, but the ghost is actually the father of the girl that killed herself. But there's a lot more like weird family drama going on there, that you find out kind of over the course of the events. But I also feel like there was a lot of chunks of this book that just could have been completely left out, because I feel like it just like it didn't really further anything along, and you could have just left it out and been a shorter book and still been just as good. So it's good, not great. Next up is That Summer, again by Sarah Dessen. This was a pretty short one. It's about a girl and her sister, and her sister's getting married. Her dad is remarried to his coworker and pregnant with another, kid. Their mom is like having, like a midlife crisis kind of thing. And again, it's just kind of like a little family drama. It's a little bit lighthearted. She kind of like meets a guy, and it's just a coming of age type of book. I liked that. Nice little summer reading. Saint Anything, also by Sarah Dessen. This one was a little bit longer. I think it was 13 hours or 11 hours. And it's about this girl who, she has a little bit of, like family drama going on herself. She feels like things are just, not like she would like them to be. And then she, switches schools because her brother has some issues and they have to save money, by her not going to private school anymore. So she starts going to public school. She meets this other group of kids and starts hanging out with them, and they have family drama going on. And again, it's just kind of like a coming of age tale, of like friendship and love and, just all that stuff. It's just a feel-good book, a little bit of drama, a little bit of lightheartedness. I liked it. Next up is Summoned to the 13th Grave. This was the last book in the Charlie Davidson series. Grim Reaper marries son of Satan, blah, blah, blah. I was so sad to see this end, like so sad. But the ending left it open for the story to continue with their daughter's story. So I feel like it's going to be really good. I'm so excited for it. Cannot wait. Once and For All, the last Sarah Dessen book so far. I'm still reading the one that I saw, the one that I showed you in my purse, unveiling, reveal, whatever. Just Listen. So I'm still reading that one. Haven't finished it yet, but Once and For All is about this girl. It's always about this girl. She is like graduating from high school, getting ready to go off to college. Her mom is a wedding planner, and she is dealing with the loss of her ex-boyfriend. So she's like not wanting to date or anything. And then of course this guy comes along, tries to win her over, and it's just another one of those like summer before the start of the school year type of books. It was just really good, a feel-good book. I loved it. The Silent Patient. This was a recommendation. Thank you so much, Nurse Jackie. And this one was about a woman who killed her husband and then did not talk again after that. And she's been in a mental hospital for a while because she was sentenced to go there instead of prison, I guess, or whatever. And so this new psychiatrist comes along and is trying to kind of like crack her and find out why she did it, and why she hasn't been speaking and stuff like that. And it kept me guessing the whole book. And I kind of started toward the end to be like, I think I know what's going on. But then in the end, I actually like, I was a little bit right, but mostly wrong. And I love books like that where like you can't really tell what's going to happen until it happens. So I liked that. That was a really good one. It actually reminded me a lot of The Sinner that was on USA, that first season with Jessica Biel. I binged watched that on Netflix a few months ago. Oh, whenever I had my back problem. I remember just sitting on the couch and just like watching that for an entire day. But that series, I kind of regretted even watching it because it was kind of boring in the end, but it was kind of similar to that. So if you watched that series and you liked it, you'd probably really like this book. And then the last one is Without Merit, another Colleen Hoover book. This one is about dysfunctional family drama. Of course, there's another theme for this month. But it is this family, two twin sisters, a brother, a half-brother, a husband, a wife, and an ex-wife all living together under the same roof. And the wife had cancer, and the husband got together with the cancer nurse to his ex-wife, and it's all just a big like mess. And the twin sister that is Merritt is kind of feels like she's less than, and the other twin sister is like the sparkly pretty, you know, like, I mean, they look the same, but she feels like she's prettier, you know, and stuff like that. And it's all just about like that kind of dynamic. And then a boy is introduced into the dynamic, and it's just a, you know, it's a whole like just family drama kind of thing. And again, it just has a nice little happy ending, you know, lots of like twists and turns throughout the way because not everything that you're told is true. So there you go. I feel like that took forever. There was, I don't know, a lot on the list today. But as always, if you guys have any book recommendations for me, leave them down below. If my library has them, I will check them out. And there you go. I will catch you guys next time. Bye.